and then before you get married, you have that thing. I don't know, I'm looking at those 6th graders back there for Miss Enos' sake. I'm just trying to make sure that I say the right thing there. The definition, no harm, purity, wanting something before it's time. We can't wait until we get married, so we want to have that thing. An intimate relationship with someone, an intimate physical relationship with someone else before we get married. And that's wanting something before it's time. But do you know that there's other things? Because a lot of times when we get to purity month, we're hard on the guys in purity month. During purity month, you're like, man, what are you guys doing? What are you guys looking at? Why can't you control yourself? These poor girls are treating them like objects. And we don't really get to address everybody. So today I want to kind of address everybody because the Bible says in 1 John that there's the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And today I want to talk about not the lust of the flesh or physical desires, but I want to talk about the lust of the eye. Because we're in a season right now where it doesn't seem like what we have right now is good enough. Like, I can't just have last year's Air Jordans. I gotta have this year's Air Jordans. I gotta have last year's DS. I have to have this year's PS15. Or whatever else they're coming out with. That's kind of like, can you guys come up with a better name? PlayStation and PS2 and PS3. So what? What's the next one? PS4. Wow, so creative. Right? Well, I guess Tom will be able to tell me a little later what the next one is going to be. But it seems like what we have now just doesn't seem to be good enough. And why is that? Because it's what we see, it's what we touch, it's when we go to Pro Rage or when we look at magazines and we see what other people have. It just doesn't seem to be enough. Another definition for lust that I want you to write down is an unsatisfying desire. It's a desire that you can't satisfy. And it just seems like, man, if I only had the latest, newest Air Jordans, or if I only had the latest and newest video games, if I only had the latest and newest laptop or computer, then I would be happy. Especially during Christmas. Because I bet you, many of your parents, like mine, when I was your age, my mom would come to me and say, Andrew, what do you want for Christmas? I said, Mom, back at that time, it's kind of funny to say this now, but back at that time I said, Mom, I really want a VCR. You guys laugh, but that was cutting edge technology back then. And she goes, you want a VCR? Here's 1 penny for your VCR. You raise the rest. Mom, I want a car. Here's a penny. Oh, and sometimes she'd be so cute. She got me one of those Hot Wheels. Here you go, Andrew. Here's your car. Mom, that's the 1 penny. Because all we can think about during Christmas is about what we can get. And it just seems like once we get that thing, we're so happy to get it, but then after a while, it kind of loses its appeal. It loses its value. And then what ends up happening? We end up wanting something else. And that's what lust is. It's something that you can never satisfy. It's an unsatisfying desire. It's wanting something before it's time. And when we get caught up in this whole season of give me, Mom, what are you going to give to me? Dad, what are you going to give to me? You tell your parents, what are you getting me? I'm so excited because it's all about me. And we have to be careful that we don't get caught up into this, the world revolves around me kind of mentality. Because that's right, because Chris said it's not love. Love is not about you. Love is about God, and love is about those that He places around you. And that's why, I don't know, I think, was it this past Friday? Did the high school do an outreach? Oh, last week? Okay. I'm getting my weeks mixed up, sorry. But that's why the school is really trying to focus a lot of our extracurricular energy and attention and focus to outreach. Because your teachers, your principal, and your chaplains, and the pastors that God places in your lives, that we don't want you growing up thinking that life just revolves around you. Because if it does, then you will have an unsatisfying desire. You have a hunger for something that will if you live your life just, what can I get for myself? How can I satisfy myself? And when we start to live our life for God and for others, that's when you find the most fulfillment, the most satisfaction that the world cannot offer you. And I wanted to encourage you. That's why a lot of families that I admire, a lot of families that I look up to, on Christmas Day, I hear of a lot of families going to soup kitchens instead of opening presents. Parents will take their children down to a homeless shelter and help feed them, have the family help feed a Christmas meal to those who don't have much. Because Christmas is not about getting something for us. Christmas is about God giving us His best. And the best present that we could give to Jesus on His birthday is to really show love or to give to other people. Maybe it's a smile, maybe it's doing something outside of your comfort zone. But you guys have so much here at Christian Academy. And what are you guys doing about all that God has given to you? Are you just asking, what can I have for myself? What can I get for myself? How can I satisfy myself? Because the longer you ask yourself that question, the longer you will not be satisfied. But once you start to say, God, how can I give? How can I give back to you? God, you've done so much for me. What can I do? What strategic, tangible, intentional steps can I take to give to somebody else this Christmas season? Because when we realize it's not about us anymore, it's about God and others, then I really believe that God can really touch the world around you. Maybe I know a lot of you are involved in sports, and I can take a guess that a lot of teams that you play don't really believe in Jesus Christ. Only when they don't get the calls that they want, they'll yell His name, right? Or if they get fouled and the ref's not calling it, they'll yell His name again. And you have especially, I think basketball just started up, right? And you're going to be going into like Ilani Classic, you're going to be going to all these different places where you have a chance to meet up with other people who don't have the same hope that you do. And how are we going to share God's love this Christmas season? And I want you to think about that, because life should not be about lust. Life should be about love. And can I encourage those of you who aren't involved in sports and all of that? I know that this school really focuses on outreach, and I know that this school really focuses on going to trips to the Big Island and to some other places in a couple months from now. But if you are really hungry to give to other people, if you're really hungry to do missions the way that God had talked to us about in the Bible, the Bible talks a lot about giving to the poor. And can I encourage you, I've never done this a lot, but I just felt in my heart today. Like, if that's a desire in your heart, can I encourage you to come on Fridays, to the youth group on Fridays? If you're not involved with sports or with other activities that are taking up your time, and I'm going to tell you why. Right now, we're having a number of young people come from a beautiful place in Honolulu called Kohio Park Terrace. And for those of you who don't know what Kohio Park Terrace is, called KPT for short. And it's as if we've gone to another country, like the Marshallese Islands or Micronesia, because they're coming. And can I tell you, young people here at Christian Academy, that if you want to reach people for Jesus Christ who are raw, who are unchurched, if you want to give during this Christmas season, maybe instead of going to the soup kitchen or to IHS, can I encourage you to come on Friday? Just to help reach out to someone who is not as fortunate as you are.